From the moment, an Ambazonian was appointed or elected into that position, we all got very interested. But just not that, even last year we followed this UN General Assembly session very squarely, and we brought you up to speed with every of the detail that was spoken. And we just feel that probably this year, as the 79 session sits, we'll definitely see something new, something great, and something that would definitely affect the lives of Ambazonia. And so the 79th United Nations General Assembly session is currently on the way. As of yesterday, the 13th of September, nothing specific has happened except for the opening speech of the president of the General Assembly. Now, having opened on the 10th of September, this year's session intends to be very crucial as world leaders gathers again to address pressing global challenges, including climate change, which is a regular occurrence, poverty, inequality, and of course, ongoing conflicts and wars. And again, we hope that the one in the Cameroons, Ambazonia specifically, will be addressed. Now, building on the momentum of previous declarations and commitments, participants will focus on enhancing international cooperation, promoting the responsible use of antimicrobials, and advancing the development of new treatments to safeguard global health. Key events expected to hold in this assembly would include a lot of things that I would mention later on. But then, during its resumed 10th agency emergency special session, the General Assembly adopted a resolution that as of the 10th of September 2024, it has upgraded Palestine's rights at the United Nations as an observer state. And at this point, I would say it doesn't matter what they are called. The issue on ground is that they have been recognized as an observer state. And, the organization also urged the Security Council to favorably consider its full membership. And this was done under the watch of Philemon Young. Philemon, our very own Philemon Young, I mean Amazonian's Philemon Young, who is rightfully aware of the sufferings, the marginalization of the oppressed people of Amazonia. He is aware because he is a son of Amazonia. Now, for Palestinians, as of this moment, they have their additional rights and privileges of participation of the state of Palestine, and they will be given effect through the following modalities as of the 79th session of the General Assembly. Now, that includes the right to be seated amongst member states in alphabetical order, the right to make statements on behalf of a group, the right to introduce, submit, and co-sponsor proposals and amendments, raise procedural motions, including points of order and requests to put proposals to the vote, be elected as officers in the plenary and the main committees of the General Assembly, and fully and effectively participate in UN and international conferences and meetings convened under the auspices of the General Assembly or as appropriate under the auspices of other organs of the United Nations. However, the State of Palestine Assembly ought to put forward its candidature to United Nations organ. How else do you want to put this? They've gone in, they are in. They were at this point with Ambazonians at some point, but here they are, way ahead, way forward. What did they do differently? But let's get a video first.
Honorable President, this is not merely a procedural matter. This is a historic moment for us. The State of Palestine should be seated in the General Assembly among member states, full members. This is history in the making. For 140 or more than that of us, the State of Palestine possesses all the legal elements of a state.
I have been informed that all arrangements have been made to have Palestine seated where so.
Now, I needed us to get that video because just like I asked, what did they do differently? What have they done rightly or what didn't they do? Oh, well, while we're trying to answer that question, another significant highlight is the speech by Fuman Young, where he talked about the climate change and how it is devastating the planet and endangering countless lives and societies. You would say that's like every other speech, right? But then he mentioned the conflict and the armed violence rage from Sudan to Haiti, from Ukraine to Gaza Strip, living trials of death, destructions, and wanton misery, all of that being mentioned. But then he failed to mention the wanton arrest, the kidnappings, the killings, the war going on in the Cameroons, especially in his own place, Ambazonia, the southern Cameroons. He mentioned that peace and security will continue to be of paramount importance. But then, how much peace has he brought to Ambazonia? What official statement has he made so far concerning the conflict, concerning the war, however he would have wanted to put it? What is stopping Yang from prioritizing conflict prevention in Ambazonia rather than resorting to weapons to settle the differences because it will help in reducing current high military expenditures, which complicates the achievement of the sustainable development goals which he is seeking for? These were his words. But then I thought to give the reverse in a question for just to drive home my points this evening. But then for journalists and analysts, everyone is actually still looking forward to what happenings would still come up. I mean, between the 22nd to the 23rd, it will be the summit of the future. And now, this summit aims to reaffirm commitments to the Sustainable Development Goals and the UN Charter while enhancing international cooperation to address global challenges. So we try to stay hopeful, hoping that something new would come up. I mean, if Palestine can get it, why not for Ambazonia? Then there is the general debate. Now, this is a session that the world is waiting for. The debate is set to take place from the 24th to the 28th of September 2024, where heads of states and governments will discuss solutions to intertwined global challenges. Then, of course, the high level meetings. Now, the UN General Assembly will convene meetings on antimicrobial resistance, and that will take place on the 26th of September. And of course, sea level rise, which is focusing on building common understanding and promoting international cooperation. Well, the session will conclude on the 30th of September for the 79 UN General Assembly. So we hope that before the 30th of September, Ambazonians will definitely hear something good. I think at this point, Mr. Child, we ought just to stay optimistic. But then there are some pertinent questions begging for answers that I have added there. And I'm sure that the barristers and the gentleman, Barrister Ghana, and of course, all the barristers in their studio would definitely do us well to, answer some of those questions.
You did, I must commend that you did exceptionally well in this coverage.